Do not move past this moment. Not yet. Before you go back to the noise, before you answer the message that can wait, before your mind pulls you into another distraction, give this your full attention. There are moments when God does not shout. He interrupts. He places a word in front of you at the exact second your soul is about to give up. He lets a message find you when your strength is almost gone, not because you are weak, but because you have been carrying something longer than anyone knows. This is one of those moments. You did not arrive here by accident. You may have clicked because of curiosity. You may have stopped because something in the title touched a hidden place in your heart. You may not even know why you are still listening, but something in you already understands. Your spirit recognized this before your mind could explain it. There is a reason this message found you before the day ended. There is a reason your heart feels heavy and strangely awake at the same time. Something is changing around you, but more importantly, something is changing inside you. And I need you to hear this clearly. The pressure you have been under was not proof that God forgot you. The delay was not proof that heaven rejected you. The silence was not proof that your prayers were wasted. What you called silence was preparation. What you called delay was protection. What you called being overlooked was God hiding you until the right hour. You have been asking, why does it feel like I am always close, but never crossing over? You have been asking, why do I get a little hope, then something happens? You have been asking, why can I feel something coming, but my life still looks the same? The answer is not that you are cursed. The answer is not that you are unlucky. The answer is not that you are behind. The answer is that you are standing at the edge of a door that old patterns cannot pass through with you. That is why everything has felt so tight lately. That is why certain people have been acting strange. That is why you suddenly feel tired of conversations you used to tolerate. That is why old habits do not comfort you like they used to. You are not losing your mind. You are being separated. Not rejected, separated. Some people were removed because they could not go where God is taking you. Some doors closed because your future was too holy to be handled by hands that only knew how to use you. Some plans collapsed because they were too small for the version of you God is raising now. You have cried over things that were actually mercy. You begged God to open doors He was keeping shut because danger was behind them. You asked Him to restore people who were quietly draining the life out of you. You prayed for opportunities that would have trapped you in a version of yourself you were meant to outgrow. And tonight, heaven is not asking you to understand everything. Heaven is asking you to trust what has already been revealed. Because you know who drains you. You know which place makes your spirit shrink. You know which conversation always leaves you confused. You know which habit pulls you backward. You know which fear has been pretending to be wisdom. You know which door keeps opening only because you keep touching the handle. And God is saying, this time close it. Not because He wants to take something from you, because He is trying to get something to you. There is a blessing that cannot enter through a crowded doorway. There is a new season that cannot begin while your hands are still holding the old one. There is a level of peace that cannot live in the same room with the chaos you keep excusing. You have called it patience, but sometimes it was fear. You have called it loyalty, but sometimes it was bondage. You have called it humility, but sometimes it was believing you deserved less than what God promised you. This message is not here to shame you. It is here to wake you, because you have been surviving in a place you were only supposed to pass through. You stayed too long in rooms where your soul had to shrink to fit. You stayed too long with people who only loved the version of you they could control. You stayed too long in a pattern that gave you temporary comfort but stole your future confidence. You stayed too long in fear, replaying worst-case scenarios until anxiety sounded like prophecy. But fear is not prophecy. Fear is a liar with good vocabulary. Fear knows how to sound responsible. Fear knows how to sound practical. Fear knows how to dress itself as common sense and say, Do not expect too much. Do not try again. Do not believe anything good can happen now. But God has not given you the spirit of fear. And if fear did not come from God, stop treating it like counsel. There is an instruction coming to your heart right now. Not a loud one, not dramatic, a simple one. Release it. Release the person you keep replaying in your mind. Release the argument you keep winning in your imagination. Release the shame from what you did when you were broken. Release the version of you that thought begging for love was the same as receiving love. Release the need to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you, because the next chapter requires your hands. You cannot carry yesterday and receive tomorrow at the same time, and I know this is not easy. Someone listening right now has been trying to be strong for so long that rest feels suspicious. You have been the one who keeps going, keeps smiling, keeps showing up, keeps fixing, keeps praying, keeps forgiving, keeps pretending you are fine because explaining the truth would take too much energy. But God saw all of it. He saw the nights you lay awake with your phone in your hand, not even scrolling anymore, just staring because your mind would not stop. He saw you check your messages hoping for one person to notice you were not okay. He saw you open your bank account and close it quickly because the numbers made your chest tight. He saw you sit in your car before walking inside, trying to gather yourself enough to become the version of you everyone expects. He saw you delete the paragraph you wanted to send. He saw you whisper, "I cannot do this anymore," and then get up the next morning and do it anyway. He saw you give grace while your own heart was bleeding, and not 1 second of it was unseen. You are not invisible to God. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are not too damaged to be chosen. You are not too tired to be restored. You are not too far behind for God to still do something beautiful with your life. The enemy wanted you to believe the pain was the end of the story, but pain was never meant to be your identity. Pain was a chapter. Pain was evidence. Pain was the place where God taught you discernment. Pain showed you who could not handle your rising. Pain showed you what you can never return to. Now listen carefully. In the next season of your life, God is going to require a different response from you. Not more panic, not more chasing, not more explaining, not more forcing. A different response. You are going to have to learn how to obey peace, because peace will feel unfamiliar at first. When you have lived in chaos for a long time, peace feels empty. When you have been used to fighting for every inch, ease feels suspicious. When you have had to prove your worth to people who could not see it, being loved without performing can feel strange. But do not reject peace just because it is new. Do not sabotage calm because your nervous system is addicted to storms. Do not run back to people who hurt you just because healing feels lonely in the beginning. Loneliness is not always punishment. Sometimes loneliness is where God removes the noise so you can hear the next instruction. And the next instruction is simple. Close the 3 doors. The first door is the door of access. There is someone who still has access to you who should not. You already know who it is. Your body knows before your mind admits it. When their name appears, something in you tightens. When they speak, you feel smaller. When they need something, they find you. When you need tenderness, they disappear. They know how to return with just enough warmth to keep you attached, but never enough truth to make you safe. This door must close, not with hatred, not with revenge, not with a speech. Close it with peace. Close it with a boundary. Close it with distance. Close it with the understanding that not everyone who misses your energy deserves access to your life. You can forgive someone and still not reopen the door. You can love someone and still stop letting them wound you. You can wish them well and still refuse to carry them into a season God designed to heal you. The second door is the door of agreement. There are words you have been speaking over yourself that heaven never said. You have been agreeing with labels that came from pain. You have said, "This always happens to me." You have said, "I am not good enough." You have said, "Maybe love is not for me." You have said, maybe success is for other people. You have said, maybe I missed my chance. Stop giving your mouth to your enemy. Your words are not small. Your agreement matters. Every time you repeat the lie, you strengthen the prison. Every time you speak truth, even with a shaking voice, you weaken the chain. So tonight, change the sentence. Do not say, I am stuck. Say, God is moving me. Do not say, I am forgot. Say, I am being prepared. Do not say, nothing ever works for me. Say, the right door is opening at the right time. Do not say, I am too broken. Say, God restores what life tried to destroy. Do not say, I always lose. Say, this time I am learning how to receive. The third door is the door of delay, not God's delay. Yours. There is something you already know you need to do, a call, an application, a conversation, a decision, a step, a boundary, a beginning. You have been waiting for the fear to disappear before you move. But fear does not always disappear first. Sometimes obedience moves while fear is still talking. You do not need to feel fearless to be faithful. You do not need perfect confidence to take the next step. You do not need everyone to understand. You do not need a sign every 5 minutes. Sometimes the sign is the fact that you cannot stop thinking about it. Sometimes the sign is the holy discomfort that will not leave. Sometimes the sign is that the old life no longer fits, even though the new one has not fully appeared. God is not asking you to leap into foolishness. He is asking you to stop using caution as a hiding place. There is a difference between waiting on God and hiding from responsibility. There is a difference between wisdom and fear. There is a difference between preparation and procrastination. And deep down, you know which one you have been doing, so take the step. Not the whole staircase, the step. Send the message, make the appointment, clean the room, start the page, record the idea, apply for the position, ask the question, tell the truth, walk away, begin again. One obedient step can break a cycle that years of overthinking could not solve. And after you close these 3 doors, do not be surprised when the old season tries to make noise. It will. The person you stopped chasing may suddenly return with the exact words you once begged to hear. The habit you tried to leave may suddenly feel stronger. The fear you resisted may come louder. The doubt may whisper, nothing is changing. You are just being emotional. Go back to what you know. Do not go back. The old season always negotiates when it realizes you are leaving. It will offer you comfort without transformation, familiarity without peace, attention without love, apologies without change, excitement without stability, temporary relief without true healing. Do not trade your future for a familiar cage. You have done that before. You know how it ends. This time, let the door stay closed, and when the counterattack comes, answer it with truth. Say, I recognize this pattern, and I am not returning. Say, I have outgrown what once controlled me. Say, I will not confuse chaos with passion. Say, I will not confuse delay with denial. Say, I will not confuse loneliness with abandonment. Say, God is with me in the transition. Because He is. Even here, especially here. You may not see the full picture yet, but God is arranging pieces you cannot touch. He is moving conversations behind the scenes. He is softening the right hearts and exposing the wrong ones. He is closing what would have consumed you and opening what will strengthen you. Something is being restored. Not just money, not just opportunity, not just a relationship. You are being restored. Your ability to hope, your ability to dream, your ability to trust your own discernment, your ability to sleep without rehearsing disaster, your ability to receive love without questioning every motive, your ability to walk into a room without apologizing for existing. That is the miracle. Yes, God can open doors. Yes, God can send provision. Yes, God can bring the right people. Yes, God can make a way where there was no way. But one of the greatest miracles is when He gives you yourself back. When you wake up and realize you are not begging anymore. When you stop checking whether they noticed. When you stop explaining your value to people committed to underestimating you. When you laugh and it is real. When you pray and it does not feel forced. When you rest and do not feel guilty. When you look at your own reflection and think, I survived, but I am not just surviving anymore. That day is closer than you think, but you must participate in your own deliverance. God can open the prison door, but you still have to walk out. God can reveal the truth, but you still have to stop defending the lie. God can send the warning, but you still have to listen. God can show you who someone is, but you still have to stop repainting them into who you wish they were. God can give you peace, but you still have to stop choosing the storm. This is your hour of alignment, not perfection. Alignment. You may still be healing. You may still have questions. You may still feel afraid. But alignment begins when you stop arguing with what God has already shown you. And some of you have been shown enough. You do not need another betrayal to confirm that person is unsafe. You do not need another burnout to confirm that rhythm is unhealthy. You do not need another disappointment to confirm that door is not yours. You do not need another breakdown to finally choose rest. You do not need another sign to believe God is calling you higher. This is the sign. The next version of you is not asking for permission from the old version of you. The next version of you is not available for the same manipulation. The next version of you does not shrink to keep people comfortable. The next version of you does not call anxiety intuition. The next version of you does not beg for seats at tables where God never told you to sit. The next version of you knows that rejection can be redirection, silence can be protection, and waiting can be preparation. This is where everything begins to turn, not because life suddenly becomes perfect, not because every problem disappears by morning, but because your posture changes, your agreement changes, your boundaries change, your faith changes, your response changes. And when your response changes, your life begins to shift. Watch for the small confirmations, not because you are chasing signs, but because God often comforts His children through details. A conversation that answers a private question, a door that opens after you stop forcing the wrong one, a person who shows their true colors at the exact moment you needed clarity, an unexpected solution to a problem you thought would take months, a sudden peace about something that used to torment you, a dream that reminds you of who you were before fear trained you to shrink. Do not dismiss the small things. God often starts with a whisper because He wants to know if you are listening. And when He whispers, respond. You do not have to perform. You do not have to prove. You do not have to make a dramatic announcement. Just respond with obedience. Clean up what He told you to clean up. Release what He told you to release. Write what He told you to write. Rest when He tells you to rest. Move when He tells you to move. Stop calling your disobedience waiting. Stop calling your fear discernment. Stop calling your attachment love. Stop calling your exhaustion strength. God is not impressed by you destroying yourself in the name of loyalty. He is not asking you to bleed for relationships He already told you to leave. He is not asking you to stay small so other people do not feel convicted by your growth. Your healing will offend people who benefited from your wounds. Let it. Your boundaries will confuse people who were used to your lack of them. Let them be confused. Your silence will bother people who fed on your reactions. Let it bother them. Your peace will reveal who only knew how to connect with you through chaos. Let it reveal. This is not the season to argue with exposure. This is the season to thank God for clarity. Because clarity is mercy. When God shows you who someone is, that is mercy. When a plan falls apart before you sign your name to it, that is mercy. When your spirit feels uneasy and you cannot explain why, that may be mercy. When you are delayed from entering a room that would have damaged you, that is mercy. So do not curse the closed door. Bless God for the protection. You are being guided more than you know. Now listen to what is about to change. The heaviness that followed you into rooms is beginning to lose its grip. That fog in your mind, the confusion that made even simple decisions feel impossible, is not your portion anymore. God is bringing clarity back to you. Not loud clarity, not chaotic clarity, a quiet knowing, a steady peace. A deep sense inside your spirit that says, I know what to do now. The nights that felt endless will not always feel this way. The thoughts that kept rehearsing old pain will not always have the power to control your breathing, your sleep, your body, or your decisions. God is teaching your heart how to rest again. He is teaching your mind how to stop expecting disaster. He is teaching your body that survival mode is not your home. The people connected to your future will not require you to beg to be understood. They will recognize what God placed in you without you having to explain your wounds in detail. You will not have to shrink to be loved. You will not have to perform to be accepted. The wrong voices are losing influence over you. The opinions that used to control your mood will start sounding smaller. The people who could pull you out of peace with one sentence will not have the same access anymore. Something in you is becoming stronger than the need to be approved. And where there has been financial pressure, God is bringing order, not confusion, not panic, order, wisdom, provision, open doors with peace attached to them, the kind of help that arrives at the right time, the kind of opportunity that does not destroy your soul while blessing your life. Your home is going to feel lighter. Your mind is going to feel clearer. Your voice is going to come back. The confidence you lost in survival is going to rise again, but this time it will not be arrogance. It will be holy stability. The prayers you whispered when no one was listening are not dead. The tears you cried in private were not wasted. God knows how to restore years. He knows how to redeem delay. He knows how to send comfort into places where people only brought confusion. This is not just about something around you changing. This is about you changing. You are becoming too healed to keep choosing chaos, too awake to keep believing lies, too close to God's peace to keep calling anxiety normal. And once that shift happens inside you, everything around you has to respond differently. You are allowed to live, not just endure. Live. You are allowed to receive good without waiting for it to be taken. You are allowed to be loved without being used. You are allowed to rest without falling behind. You are allowed to start again without explaining the whole story. You are allowed to become someone the old season no longer recognizes. And that is exactly what is happening. The old version of you is not dying because you failed. The old version of you is dying because it finished its assignment. It carried you through what you could not understand. It protected you the best way it knew how. It helped you survive rooms you were not yet strong enough to leave. But now you are leaving. So bless that version of yourself and release it. You do not need the armor that helped you survive once you are learning how to live in peace. You do not need suspicion to protect your heart when wisdom can do it better. You do not need isolation to prove you are strong when discernment can choose safe connections. You do not need panic to motivate you when purpose can lead you. This is the transition. And transitions are uncomfortable because you are no longer who you were, but you are not fully standing in who you are becoming. That middle place can feel lonely. It can feel uncertain. It can feel like nothing is happening. But seeds do their deepest work underground, and you have been underground long enough. There is growth in you that people have not seen yet. There is strength in you that even you have underestimated. There is wisdom in you that was purchased through tears. You have lived through the fire. You have walked through disappointment. You have been misunderstood, delayed, betrayed, stretched, humbled, and still you are here. That means something. The fact that you are still here is evidence that God has not finished with you. The enemy would not fight a future that was empty. The pressure was not random. The resistance was not random. The repeated attacks against your hope were not random. Something about your life threatens the cycles that came before you. Something about your healing will change what your family thought was normal. Something about your obedience will break patterns that have been passed down for years. That is why quitting has felt so tempting. Not because you are weak, because you are close to becoming dangerous to what tried to destroy you. When a person finally realizes who they are in God, manipulation loses power. Shame loses power. Fear loses power. The need for approval loses power. Old voices lose power, and the enemy knows this. That is why he does not always attack your destiny directly. He attacks your identity. If he can convince you that you are nothing, you will never fight for what God placed inside you. If he can convince you that you are too late, you will stop moving. If he can convince you that nobody cares, you will isolate. If he can convince you that one mistake defines you, you will stop receiving grace. But the lie breaks tonight. You are not what happened to you. You are not what they called you. You are not the worst thing you did in pain. You are not the rejection. You are not the delay. You are not the closed door. You are not the anxious thought. You are not the family pattern. You are not the heartbreak. You are not the failure. You are God's work in progress, and he is not ashamed of the process. So breathe slowly. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your spirit hear what your mind has been too tired to believe. God is not done, not with your life, not with your story, not with your purpose, not with your heart, not with your family, not with your gifts, not with the promise he placed inside you before people had opinions about you. And what God started, he knows how to finish. Your responsibility is not to control the whole outcome. Your responsibility is to obey the next instruction. Close the door of access. Close the door of agreement with lies. Close the door of delay. Then watch what God does with a surrendered yes, not a perfect yes. A surrendered one. A yes with tears still on your face. A yes with questions still in your mind. A yes while your hands are shaking. A yes while you are not sure how everything will work out. That kind of yes moves things. That kind of yes marks the moment you stop being a prisoner of what happened and become a participant in what God is doing. And when the next few days test your decision, remember this message. Remember that you were warned not to reopen the door. Remember that peace may feel unfamiliar, but it is still peace. Remember that not every returning voice is a divine confirmation. Remember that some people come back only because they sensed you leaving. Remember that guilt is not the same as conviction. Conviction leads you closer to God. Guilt pushes you into hiding. Conviction brings clarity. Guilt brings confusion. Conviction says, "Come higher." Guilt says, "You are hopeless." Follow the voice that brings you closer to truth. And tonight, before you sleep, do one simple thing. Place your hand over your heart and speak this out loud. I release what God did not ask me to carry. I close every door that keeps pulling me away from peace. I break agreement with every lie spoken over my life. I choose obedience over fear. I choose healing over chaos. I choose the future God is preparing for me. I will not return to what broke me just because it feels familiar. I am ready to walk forward. Say it slowly. Mean it as much as you can. And even if part of you struggles to believe it, say it anyway. Sometimes faith begins as a whisper before it becomes a conviction. This is not the end of your story. This is the part where the story turns. This is the part where you stop asking why you were delayed and begin to understand what the delay protected. This is the part where the wrong voices fade and the right instruction becomes clear. This is the part where you stop living as someone waiting to be rescued and begin walking like someone already held by God. One day, you will look back at this season and realize God was closer than your feelings told you. You will realize he was working in places you thought were empty. You will realize the door that hurt you most was the door that saved your life by closing. You will realize the silence was not absence. It was surgery. And you will thank him, not because everything was easy, because he was faithful. So do not scroll away from your own awakening. Do not treat this as just another message. Let it mark you. Let it call you higher. Let it remind you that heaven still knows your name. You have been seen in the hidden place. You have been heard in the midnight place. You have been carried through the breaking place. And now you are being invited into the becoming place. Close the doors. Guard your peace. Take the step. Trust the God who has been guiding you even when you thought you were walking alone. Your life is not over. Your heart is not too damaged. Your promise is not dead. Your future is not canceled. The chapter is turning. And this time you are not turning back.